Cancel your prepper cart. Whatever's sitting in it right now, cancel it. The most stocked survival store in the country is the farm supply chain you drive past without a second glance, and I want you to walk it with me right now, from the far wall where they keep the animal supplies all the way to the automotive aisle up front. Because the people who've actually needed this gear in the field have been quietly filling carts there for a decade. No tactical theater, no $200 bug-out box with a compass glued to the lid. Just real supplies with real numbers printed on the label, sitting in aisles nobody thinks to check. 7 of them, under $200 total, and I'm going to give you the exact price, the exact breakdown, and the exact scenario each one owns. And item 7 is sold as a fluid for diesel trucks. Almost nobody buys it for what it actually does, and it may be the most important thing on this entire list. I'm Dale Hutchins. Every item on this walk sits a few steps deeper into the store than the last, so the layout itself is the checklist. Let's start at the far wall. First stop, the animal health shelf. Item 1 is the veterinary triple antibiotic ointment, and the tube you want reads bacitracin, neomycin, and polymyxin B. Read that panel twice. It's the identical 3-drug combination sold at the pharmacy as Neosporin. Same actives, same concentrations. The only real difference is the word animal and the size of the tube. At the drugstore, you're paying around $11 for a half-ounce squeeze. On this shelf, you're getting several times that volume for about $7 because the livestock supply chain never carried the pharmacy markup. Here's the part nobody mentions. Those 3 drugs aren't redundant. They're a team. Bacitracin and neomycin hit different families of bacteria, and polymyxin B covers a 3rd group the other 2 miss. That's the entire reason the combination exists instead of a single drug cream, and it's what makes it a real field first line on a wound you've already cleaned. Because when the grid is down for a stretch, the number 1 preventable killer is something most people never plan for, a small cut that goes septic. Not thirst, not cold, infection. 1 tube, 4 jobs. Wound cover, burn dressing, a barrier against grit, and closing care on a laceration after you've flushed it. And that ointment barrier does a second thing people forget. It seals moisture into the wound bed, and a wound that stays slightly moist closes faster and scars less than one you let dry out and scab hard. $7 in, and it outlasts a decade in a cool drawer. Grab 2. Now walk 1 aisle deeper into livestock supply. Item 2 is baler twine, and this one breaks people. It sits there looking like farm garbage you'd step over. Look closer. Depending on the weight, a single roll of polypropylene baler twine runs somewhere between 9,000 and 20,000 feet of cordage, rated near 170 pounds of tensile strength for about $8. Check the spool you're actually holding and read the real footage off the tag because it's printed right there. Now hold that against paracord, $8 to $12 for 100 feet. Foot for foot, nothing in any store on earth touches baler twine. Shelter rigging, tarp lashing, snare line, bundling firewood, a perimeter trip line. 5 real jobs off 1 spool. But it has one weakness paracord doesn't. Polypropylene hates sunlight. Leave it strung across a sunny fence line for a season, and ultraviolet light chews the fibers until the rated strength quietly collapses. So the rule is simple. Store it in the dark, treat any sun-exposed line as temporary, and swap it before it matters. Do that, and $8 of twine outperforms cordage that costs 30 times more. One more thing the tag won't tell you. That 170-pound rating is per strand, and twine is meant to be doubled and tripled. Braid 3 lengths together, and you've got a working line strong enough to hoist gear, rig a ridge line, or drag a deer for pennies a foot. Running total, $16. Keep walking into the middle of the store to the cookware. Item 3, the cast iron skillet. You've walked past it 50 times. A 10-inch skillet here runs about $20 to $25, well under kitchen store pricing. Most people replace a non-stick pan every year or two as the coating scratches off into their food. Cast iron doesn't wear out, it gets better. Every time you cook fat in it, the oil hardens into a slick layer bonded to the metal, and that black patina isn't dirt, it's a chemical coating you build on purpose. That's the whole trick. That's the difference between a pan you throw away and a pan your grandkids inherit. For survival, that one pan cooks over open flame, boils water safe to drink, and does something the lists ignore. It holds heat. Warm the iron by the fire and it stays warm long after the flames are gone, pushing heat into a cold room or a bedroll. $40 into your total. Here's where casual preppers and serious ones split. Item 4 is the galvanized stock tank, back in the livestock section, and it separates people who plan in days from people who plan in weeks. These big steel troughs run $60 to $90 depending on size. Drop in a food-safe liner and you've got well over 100 gallons of clean water in one vessel. Now the physics nobody mentions. 100 gallons weighs about 800 pounds, and water is one of the best, cheap, heat-holding materials on Earth. Sitting in a back room, that mass absorbs warmth by day and releases it at night, so the room swings less on its own. Free climate control from a water tank. Storage, temperature control, a wash basin, and a rain catcher under a downspout. 4 functions from one sheet of steel. And this is not theory. During the February 2021 winter storm that took down the Texas power grid, water systems across the state lost pressure and millions of people were told to boil what little came out of the tap, when anything came at all. The households that had already filled the tank kept water while their neighbors melted snow in pots on a camp stove. Total now, around $130. If that Texas example landed, subscribe. I break down self-reliance gear the industry would rather sell you at 4 times the price. Pay attention here. I told you one item on this list is a diesel truck fluid with nothing to do with engines. That reveal is coming, and it's the reason this video exists. But 2 more items go in the cart first, and skipping them is a mistake. Item 5 is non-electric light, the kerosene hurricane lantern and the lamp oil that feeds it. A classic lantern runs $8 to $12, a gallon of oil about $10 to $12. Here's the number that ends every flashlight argument. A gallon of lamp oil burns roughly 45 hours in a standard lantern. That's about a quarter hour for light. A pack of disposable batteries costs $8 to $10 and gives you maybe 30 hours before it's landfill. Trim the wick flat before each burn and keep the flame low, and you'll get more clean hours out of every gallon. But here's the part that beats every rechargeable option on the shelf. Sealed lamp oil doesn't degrade the way gasoline does. It sits in a jug for years and lights the same as the day you bought it, while the fancy rechargeable lantern you paid $60 for is a dead brick the moment its battery cells give out. Light with no charging and no batteries, plus a little heat in a small room. $150 in. Item 6 earns the word insider. Back to the livestock health shelf for the electrolyte powder made for calves and horses. Read the ingredients: sodium, potassium, a sugar to carry them. Here's why that combination matters. Sodium and sugar get absorbed across the gut wall together, and water follows them in. That pairing is the same principle behind the oral rehydration salts the World Health Organization uses to fight dehydration deaths worldwide. Same chemistry. An $8 pouch mixes into gallons of solution next to a $1.50 sports drink that's mostly flavored sugar. rehydration for heat exhaustion or a stomach bug, care for your animals if you keep them, and a high-value barter item when the pharmacy shelves are stripped. 3 jobs, 1 pouch. This is the same supply chain overlap field medics lean on when the human-grade stock runs dry. 160 in. Now the one I've been holding. Item 7 is diesel exhaust fluid, the jug with the blue cap near the automotive section. Every diesel owner has poured it in and never once thought about what's inside. Diesel exhaust fluid is about 1/3 automotive-grade urea and 2/3 deionized water, mixed to a tight purity standard so it won't foul a truck's emissions system. Urea is one of the most widely used nitrogen fertilizers on the planet. So that blue jug is a clean, precisely mixed nitrogen source sitting in the wrong aisle. Most people see truck maintenance. Trained eyes see a garden. Roughly $15 gets you 2.5 gallons. Diluted heavily into water and applied to soil, it feeds nitrogen to leafy crops for a fraction of what bagged fertilizer costs per unit of actual nitrogen. The plant is the barrier here. You're feeding the dirt, and the dirt feeds the food. And that's the mindset shift this whole list has been climbing toward. Storing water and canned goods buys you a fixed number of days, and that clock only runs down. Growing food changes the shape of the problem because a garden resets the clock every season. It's a proven pattern. In both world wars, home victory gardens grew a huge share of a nation's vegetables from backyards and vacant lots, and the households that could keep something growing simply had more food than the ones who couldn't. Fertilizer, a clean water source in a pinch, and a barter good the moment a neighbor realizes their soil is dead. 1 jug. Added up. 7 items between $145 and $175. Wound care with real triple antibiotic coverage. Miles of line printed right on the tag. A pan your grandchildren will cook on. Over 100 gallons of water and the free thermal mass that comes with it. 45 hours of light per gallon. Gallons of rehydration fluid from 1 pouch. And the ability to grow calories when the shelves stop refilling. Most people watch a video like this and change nothing. You're not most people. You're already running the drive in your head, already picturing which Tractor Supply is closest, already deciding which aisle you hit first. I'm Dale Hutchins. Subscribe and stay close, because the next one stages every item on this list into an exact 72-hour emergency kit, step by step, and I'll see you in it.